Okay. I believe we are live. Let me just double check that real quick. It appears that we are indeed live. Let me just double check that the audio is coming through on stream. Should be. Okay. Audio is coming through good on stream. Could maybe serve to bring the audio down just a tiny bit, but that is fine. Okay, so we're getting back into the good old-fashioned Gamedev streams, working on my indie game Thwimbly, and what we've been doing for the last few streams is working on this guy, this big boss here, Monchzilla, Scourge of the Factory. So last night, instead of streaming, I was up really late. And couldn't sleep, and decided that I was going to work on this guy a lot more. So what I ended up doing, let me take a death real quick so I can show this off. So what I ended up doing was porting over the warning function and the some sort of an animation for spawning it in. It's not perfect. I don't like how slowly he rises up from the ground. But that's something that I think we're going to be able to change later. You can kind of see the timings are kind of all off, but all the pieces are there. And I also edited the code and ported over this big vine function. I converted it into its own thing. We'll see it in a second. This attack, this vine, that's from the first boss, and I just sort of adapted it and turned it into its own function so I could drag and drop it into this boss's attack pattern. So the plan for today is to move this guy into actually where he's supposed to be in terms of the So I want to move this where it's actually supposed to be in World 6. So what we're going to do is we can do that. We'll add a checkpoint. And then, nope. Do that. And then we'll just... So right now I'm setting up a linking portal so that we can just basically teleport straight to this boss. What tile is it? I'm not realizing that I haven't 249. Let's just get that into all of these. What is this one? Was 246 ever? I don't know what 246 was. It looks like a jellyfish. Was I trying to clone the Celeste? Was I trying to clone the Celeste jellyfish? I'm not sure. You know what? Actually, let's do some archaeology. Let's figure out what 246 actually does in the code. Ants.ty is 246. It does not exist anywhere except in the entbonk function, which means that it is been removed from the game, so we can actually clean out some of this code. I must have missed that somewhere. That's fine. We're not really in a position where we're hurting for mechanics at this point in the game. We're so far. The way I would put this game is Thwimbly has about as many mechanics as Celeste in a game that is about 15% the length. it is going to be a short game, but it's going to be a very dense game. It's going to have an absurd amount of content relative to its length. But now we can drop this boss in here. You know what? Let's rearrange this. So this goop is going to be very dangerous for the player. So we're going to incentivize the player to kind of stick on this middle platform, which then puts them in contention with the boss. Where was I going with this? Wormhole division. I think this is the farthest we've actually made anything on stream. Okay. Oh, did I just... Oh, I spawned in the wrong one. Okay. So right now we have 3 bosses. I went to the wrong level. So right now we have 3 bosses. We've got the giant Monchzilla that we've been editing on stream for the last little bit. There is the jumping acrobatic plant that is in the current version of the demo. Yeah, that's what I was afraid of. Okay. So we got to do a little bit of stuff. This entity is getting deleted when it touches the sludge. 68. 68. There's MGet 68. Can land and int.y. I'm really curious why the other one did not get removed. Can land, n.ty equals true. And let me just check. There's a flag in here somewhere. Splat if stuck in a block. No splat. Okay, because I changed it. So no splat is everything that is not considered a everything that cannot be splatted. So if it gets stuck inside of a block, it will avoid destroying it. So 249. This is one of those things that at this point is too deeply ingrained in the code to actually change, but having them be numbers was a massive, massive mistake. Just all around bad mistake. All around bad. Okay, so let's just make sure. You know what? We can actually test this in a more elegant way. Green tiles. Now we're just recreating the boss from Mario 1. What I might also do, this might be a decent thing to just finish up on stream. Oh wait, no, there it is. Yeah, okay, it's still getting deleted. Oh, I have to add it to no splat. I'm a goof. 249. Darn it. Is it LV? Yes, it is. You know what? We'll just change this one. Dun, 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 dun. 158.53. 0. Go here. Go here. I don't think it particularly matters. 2016. 2016. Okay, there we go. Now we have a shortcut to getting to that level. I saw it for a second. Why is it? Is in Kenland. 249 is in Canfall. It's going to be doing some really cursed stuff because it is no longer going to be deleting it, so it is going to be spawning an infinite number of particles. My question is how it gets down there, because it should not be. Here's another question. How many of these can I have? Can I have multiple? I think all of the... Oh! So I messed up something big. You know, we'll do that again later. So what did I mess up? That is the question. Let's get rid of that. Get rid of that. Get rid of that. Should just... Nope. I got rid of that line, so now it crashes every time I touch that skull, which we'll fix that in a second. Okay, we still need to work on timing that a little bit better, but... Why is all my indentation messed up? 2016, but this time again. Okay, so of these three, only this one survived. But why? I mean, it makes sense that that's the only one that survived, but... no. 68. Nope. Trace. Trace delete. So that should, if it should just print delete to the console if this guy gets deleted. Which I do not understand why it would be getting deleted. But it is, because I can see that splat. Very curious. So this is occurring.
We're sorry. Due to heavy calling, we cannot complete your call at this time. Will you please hang up and try your call later? If your call is urgent, please try again.
So this will concatenate the strings, and it will tell us the number that it deleted, so we can see if it's actually deleting a 249. Oh no. $247. Why is there a 247 that's dying in this? Never mind. I put that if statement in the wrong place. Okay. It's also possible that it's getting splatted because it's stuck in a block. And it actually not, because it's... I keep going to the wrong level. Okay, so it's getting splatted, deleted. I should have cleared it.
We're sorry. Due to heavy calling, we cannot complete your call
Acid, id.
Please hang up and try your call later. If your call is urgent, please try again.
Can splat. Nope. No splat. No splat. You know, let's go to 1-4. Let's make sure that everything actually like spawns correctly. See if we've already hecked it up. There's something really fragile here, and I don't know what it is yet. think that's the last thing that I changed. That's very Bowser. So, for reasons I don't understand, no, I do understand it now. I put the if statement in the wrong place. Not equal to 49, then we can delete. It's because it's not letting it fall. What was happening is I checked it up here, which means that it was basically saying that we're not allowing this entity to land, but it can still fall. And so it was falling, getting stuck in the floor, and then being deleted because it was stuck in the floor. So this should fix that now. So what I should be able to do, nope, wrong level. So now when I drop it in the acid, it should be totally fine. It should just survive. Okay, let me stand. Nope, that's turn it. Okay, so it's totally fine. Dropped in acid. It falls and lands on the acid. I guess that's kind of fine, actually. I don't really have a problem with that. I just need to fix the spawn animation. Okay, yeah. So we can... we can get rid of that. We can get rid of that. You know, I think we can make this a little bit more lenient. That's a little spicy, as is. I'm also now second guessing my decision to pause the player. Okay. Maybe I can do this in sort of like a Super Smash Bros. Style, where it's almost like Smash Bros. Brawl. We have like a couple of levels. I think that's the move. So we can give us that. Yeah. So now we'll have like 2 levels. Everything will feel a little bit less, hopefully, less precarious. Big guy. Okay. Now we'll shoot this. Kind of just... Can he get me up here? No, he cannot. That's supposed to track the player. Okay, so let's go find the mask Mask off area below head so it slides naturally. So we'll mess with this a little bit. We'll get rid of this. So how far off is that mask? Is it very off? Is it not very off? You know what? We don't even need it to be a function of this. Oh, wait, no. Well, no, we don't, actually. I think we can get rid of this. And we can just have this as a constant feature of the boss. So it's part of the boss's draw routine. I just need to figure out how to align it with the top of the acid. Because I think it would look really good if the boss's head... Yes, that's basically what I was looking for. Yeah. And whenever it dips below, it kind of looks like it's sinking into the acid. That attack needs some work. That attack really needs some work. But this is moving along. This is moving places. I need to change the tiles it replaces this wall with. It should not be replacing it with a pipe. But that's fine. Is it skip? Yeah, it is skip print end. So if the ent has not been initialized, being the player has not moved close enough to the entity for it to go through the spawn routine, it just won't draw the ent, which... Yeah, no, I think that's... Somehow the timing seems to have gotten better. I don't know how that is or why that is, but... Yeah... It's aiming at the wrong point when it's trying to, like, lunge towards the player. Yeah, I need to figure out. Okay. You know what? Yeah, that's the new plan. Launchzilla. So let's find. Wait. Move left, move right. I still need to fix those. Idle, track, thorn launch. Poke prep. Okay, so let's try giving it a larger magnitude. So this is like the length of distance that it can sort of lunge to. Let's just go to 90. might have some sort of like indication of the safe zone of like, here are the areas that are safe to be in. Okay, come on. This area is very safe from this attack. I don't know how I feel about that. What's up with these? Let's see if that improves things. I don't know why those offsets would have been in there. Was that to deal with the center of the head? Or was that to deal with something else? I'm gonna stand a little bit farther away. Let's see. Okay, no, that's actually not that bad. I want to see what happens if I'm standing on this upper platform. See if it'll be able to get me. Because what I want this to be is I want this to be like a dance, kind of. The player has to move between like these three. Why though? So, okay, so let's run through what this code is actually doing. We're calculating they're not technically vectors, but they're positional offsets between the player X and the entity position. Then we're finding the magnitude of that vector by using Pythagorean theorem. Then we're doing the arctangent to get the angle between them. What happens if I invert the magnitude of that sine function? Because technically the coordinate system is inverted from what you would expect. So you can't see my mouse. Oh wait, maybe you can. Yeah, this is 0. This is 130. I was not paying attention. But yeah, so the top of the screen is 0. The bottom of the screen is 135. Okay, so that one tracks. That is kind of cursed, but it is also kind of funny. Okay, never mind. I was wrong on that. This is the part of this where I just start playing with it, because I don't... Sometimes if you actually do the math, you'll get what you want. But sometimes if you're just kind of playing with the numbers, you'll end up with some happy accidents, and you'll end up with something that was way cooler than what you were actually anticipating doing. So let's see what happens if I do... No, that should not be... Okay. Screw it. Let's see what happens when we just crank that number. Let's let that... that should let the stem really stretch. Sometimes I feel like I should probably have a compressor on the music, because some of these songs are mixed extremely loudly and some of them are not at all. Okay. Vine attack. Pincer attack. Okay. Yeah, that's what I wanted. That's what I wanted. I want the player to have to like actually go to like the farthest left platform. That's pretty much exactly what I want. I want the player jumping between these zones. Maybe I don't even need the holes in the floor. Ooh, that's scary. I like that. I do really like that. I kind of want more. Okay. That is what I want. What I do kind of want more of is I want more of... You know what happens if I just replace the entire thing with particle emitters? So each of those little gray lines is what's actually spawning the particles at the bottom. It's the smoke emitter, I think. It looks good. I kind of want to change that particle system a little bit. I feel like it should be having a little bit more like smoke trail, steam, smoke, ent. That's steam from the steamed clams, steamed hams. I don't remember. Something to that nature. This was before. This was when I was being a total goof. I just trusted that I would remember what every single one of these things meant forever and ever. And some of them are kind of self-explanatory. The false is whether the particle is stuck in a wall from an early version of the particle system where the player would explode and the little pixels would get stuck in the wall, which led to the very funny, but not at all the vibe I was looking for, fatality bug, where the player would explode into a gigantic red mist that would cover all of the walls, which it was not supposed to do that. It was not supposed to be red, but it was kind of funny. I think... So we have color. See, this is what I started doing later, where I would actually like yoink, where I would actually like comment out the individual bits. XY. Okay. XY, VX, VY, that's fine. AX, AY. XY, VX, VY, ACC. Life type. Color, wall. Okay. That's radius. And that's layer. Okay, so I can get rid of this because I've... what I wanted to do is I wanted to shrink this so it would have like sort of this kind of messed up little like frothy single or double pixels, a lot smaller, that's sort of looking all messy and chaotic. That looks cool. Not what I was going for. But I kind of like it. Maybe 0.02. I want them just to sort of like slowly be sort of sliding upwards. Might be too much. 005 VX VY 6. So they should start slower and begin to accelerate. And the radii should be smaller now. I'm still unsure if I want them to be like this sort of... It's a lot denser now, but I think it's still kind of... Would it be better served? Will this even work if I... change the layer? I want it, if possible, to render behind the platforms. That way, like, you still get the noise and the texture of all the particles, but you enhance the readability. At some point, I want to go through and rewrite this particle system because it does... Yes. Yes. Do that. So the bigger particles will travel slower and will be on the front layer, and the smaller particles will move faster and will be on the back layer. So now we're kind of sandwiching this layer, sandwiching the platforms between the two layers. Yeah. It kind of it gives us a little bit more depth to this kind of diorama thing we've got going on here. Okay, we're still safe up here. But honestly, that's kind of nice because it completely negates the two intermediary platforms. What was I looking for? Poke prep. Okay, so magnitude of poke is 150. And then... Okay, so we're going to add an indicator to that attack so that it shows kind of where the player is... shows where the player should be standing, where it should not be standing. .x and .y. Minus cam y. We gotta manually do the camera offsets. And which one is... Okay, so then it goes radius. And .ct times 1.2. Can I just chuck flash color into there? It's not going to be flashing because I have that turned off for the stream. But that will give it red or white, kind of alternating frames. Maybe I just make it blink slower and then it would be a little less painful. But we'll see how that looks. But it should like grow to reach the zone. Okay, so that looks good. It's being all nice and dangerous. We got that. We've got these. Circ B. Percent. So that should go every 2 frames, or every 2 frames it should change. So it should be a little bit of a slower blink. I went the wrong way. I still don't like how this level feels. Monchzilla, Scourge of the Factory. Looks like a nope. So it will accelerate faster, but it will stop once it reaches the target zone. And hopefully that sort of gives the same effect as this like animation thing kind of sweeping in. Oh. Greater than 155. But it should also be like 145. Yeah, let's change. Give the players a little bit more leeway. Hey, thanks for stopping by the stream. I appreciate it. The Vex videos were a ton of fun to make all the way. Man, it's been, what, like probably 6 years since... Yikes. That was a long time ago. Yeah, I definitely miss doing Vex. That was a lot of fun. Maybe it doesn't. Maybe it should be a little bit closer to the edge. Again, we're just giving the player even more leeway. Yeah. I used to do Vex robotics for most of high school, and then once I got to college, most of the area, or at least my college, didn't have VexU. They ended up getting one nearer the end of my time there, but by that point, it was too late. It was too late for me. But if it had been around when I was just getting started in college, I definitely would have done VexU. Just need a little something to kind of give this boss arena some more interest and flair. You know what? That could work. That could work. I take that. If I move that there. That is cool enough for the moment. I will stick with that, at least for right now. Or, well, we can add a little bit more flair. Then it's something. It's not perfect, but it's cool enough for right now. Okay, let's see how this looks like actually in action. I did kind of want to have the pipe mechanic show up here. Yeah, I'm safe here. The background is very noisy with the holes in the background. But as it stands, it's not that bad. So there's two problems that we still have to solve. One of which is, how do we actually get the squash in there? Because if the squash falls into the acid, I'm like pretty sure it just disintegrates. Well, we'll see in a second once it gets... Yeah, the squash just disintegrates. It doesn't even respawn. So, what I'm thinking... How much room do I have? About there. You know what? Let's just go like full Smash Bros on this thing. No. It's gonna be like very Battlefield-esque thing, but I believe we'll see if this works. The squash has some peculiarities in the way that it is programmed that makes me wonder if it may potentially not function the way I think it's going to. Maybe I just need a second entry that ignores the... Oh? Okay. So, that basically does what I want it to do. The only problem is I need to do natural. If natural spawn, then do the vine thing. If int.active is false. You know what? I think I have the entities to spare. Let me gut 244. 244. .244 was an attempt to do like a propeller cap type mechanic that I think I'm just going to get rid of. No respawn squash. And then I don't know, well, because it can't respawn, let's make it look like it's a little bit older. It's aged a little more. I don't even know if these are the right colors. Okay, but 244 should be... So it's literally just going to spawn a squash, but it's going to say false and type 212. Nope. And y x 0 0, no count, no flip, no bonus. Bonus is a worthless variable because I didn't understand how tables worked like 5 years ago, 6 years ago when I set up this system, and I do not want to go remove it. Okay, let's try this. So we should just be able to put the wrinkly old squash up there. 10763, what did I do wrong? Oh. Oh. We have found an infinite butternut squash glitch. Actually, I want to see what happens when we, when the boss tries to come over here, because I think it's just staying right outside of its hitbox. But when it does that, this attack, what is? Okay, so the problem here is that I need to find the table.remove, go to skip end. This should probably be its own function. But okay. Wait, hold on, what? If natural spawn, then do the vine thing. If ent.active equals... Oh, ent.active was supposed to be true. Okay, well, there's multiple reasons why this was a complete disaster, but that's fine. That's fine. So now we shouldn't see any squash stems or vines. Okay, good. So we don't have vines. That's still making a vine. But why, though? Where is it? Okay, I guess we're playing with camera shake off. Okay, it's there. Launchy. Yes, pick direction, trig launch. Where's the part where it actually spawns the entity? Which one is 211? Oh. This is not the right line of code. There's kind of like 3 entities that are all using the same. This is... Where on earth? Okay, if trig launch is false, where is the part where it actually... Trig launch does not equal nil. It equals nil. Oh my goodness, this code is so awful. Who made this? What clown made this code? Okay, here it is. Da-da. So what I'm doing now is I'm setting it up so that if we're making a squash, we use this bool value. And it's going to by default be false, but if int.lty is 212, then bool equals true. And so if it's a squash, then we set the active type to true, which means that it is a unnaturally spawned squash and it will not come preloaded with a vine. Does it not give it any velocity? That should absolutely give it a little bit of velocity. Okay. Honestly, it stays in place much better than I was expecting. Maybe I don't even need it to move from side to side of the arena. Like, it's coded. I'm very happy with that so far. I want this to be... There we go. That's what I was looking for. Maybe not times 3, maybe times 2, but it needs to have a little bit more oomph coming out of that cannon. Darn it. I need to decide if that's an actual feature that I want to keep or if it's something that I think is... No, it's... Is it .bct? Yeah. Okay, so we'll do... What do I set BCT to? 410. We'll just set it to 10. So this is basically just bypassing the entmake function, because the entmake function forces me into a very specific type of a very specific format of entity. So like I can't preset the BCT value, which the BCT value is what determines whether the boss can be damaged by the squash or not. Which, now that I say that, that doesn't matter anymore. Because the boss, well, you know what? Okay, let's run this back, because none of this code was actually useful. The code that I was trying to work around, doesn't matter at all. Boss damage. So this should work now. Which also explains why when we spawned like 30,000 squashes earlier, it wasn't actually damaging the bots. It's because they weren't thrown squashes. They were like naturally spawned squashes. No? Still no? Oh. Yeah, it's because this boss uses a different version of the attack damage code. No, come on. Enemy. Okay, there we go. There's some cool trick shot potential here. Yes, okay. So, none of that code was necessary, but it's fine because we've made a more elegant solution that actually fits the way that the bosses are being designed now better. Which is good because I'm looking at my code and I'm realizing how close I am to running out of space. There's a few things I could definitely improve. What I should do guess it is a little bit more intense than I was anticipating. At some point, it would be nice to set this up to be a lot less like copy-pasty. There's so much here that's just... I really like the way that I'm programming these bosses. I'm a very big fan of the procedural animation and procedural attacks and everything. I love the way that I'm able to, like... Nope, stop it. I love the way that it... Darn it. I love the way that I'm able to, like, use the math to draw the stem procedurally. Yeah, I think this is good. I think... I wonder if I can get rid of this second platform and I can just replace it with something else. Does that need to be there? Could that be here? Yeah, I think that's better in most ways. That was cool. Okay, we still need to do mask. I'll leave that one there. Screw it, minus 200. And then we'll do 260, not 2600. I think it's probably better if the explosion goes in front of the mask, but maybe it's not even that big of a deal if I just adapt it. I'm going to die immediately. Yep. It's probably not even the biggest deal if the masking suddenly stops during the explosion animation. Darn it. I want to see that. Is it...
Did you know it's 3 in the morning?
Okay, we'll fix this up and then we'll probably call it here for at least for now. I might stream later if I'm feeling up to it, but oh my goodness, please. Can I type even a single word? Let's give it 1 health just so that I can blast through and fix it up. Okay, so slides out of the stuff. It explodes. Yeah, and you can't even tell that we're getting rid of the masking. That's good. That's good. Okay. Well, we can change the health back to 8, and I'll take this guy out, and then we'll finish off the stream there. But yeah, so honestly, pretty happy with that for like an hour of streaming. We changed the way that the butternut squash works, mostly incidentally. We got this whole boss arena kind of mostly designed and set up. We added this little warning zone. Can I? Okay, well. One-ways are still really not where I want them to be. Especially not for this late in the game. And by game, I mean game dev element cycle. Okay, well that one's gone. That's why we have the spawner, so we can get infinite butternut squash. That was cool. I do kind of like the motion of actually like triggering the cannon to fire the butternut squash at the boss. I think that's really cool. Man, I can't tell if I'm just bad or if this is actually too difficult. It is World 6, so this is most of the way through the game. So this platform is safe now. I wonder if I could set this guy up to play tennis with the squash. That might kill me instantly. It's gonna, yep. I might need to set up the trigger to like trigger much earlier. Is that gonna, oh, it did double hit. That's cool. Darn it. So distracted by trying to like double hit. So that is a thing that you can do. Maybe it might be worth adding a little bit of randomness to this spawn pattern so that instead of them all just stacking up like that, okay. I mean, we got a little bit of cheese in there, but I'm not gonna complain about that too much. I search for bool. We'll give this just a plus math dot 2/6. So it just gives us like a little bit of extra velocity. Actually, wait, this is the thing that I wanted to test. There we go. I mean, $20 and 60, so it'll give us like more decimal stuff. I don't know. We'll figure it out. But I gotta run now. Thank you all so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Have a great rest of your day. And if you're interested, wishlist Thwimbly on Steam. So thanks for checking it out.